As we reported earlier, governments and industries around the world are trying to deal with the effects of the latest in a series of cyber attacks. The so-called ransomware assault is the second such strike in the last 6 weeks. Hari Srinivasan in New York has more.
This attack originated yesterday in Ukraine and rapidly spread through Europe and beyond. The virus is called Petya, and it takes over infected computers, effectively locking out users. A payment is required to return control of the machine and data. In early May, a similar virus called WannaCry spread to more than 150 countries. This new attack shows signs of greater technical sophistication, but both apparently used, in part, a tool developed by the U.S. National Security Agency, a tool that was leaked into the open last year. With me now for more on this is Rodney Jaffe. He's the Senior Vice President and National Security Executive for Neustar, a cyber security firm. Rodney, it seems that we have not learned that much from what happened 2 months ago, but it seems that the attackers have learned a little bit more.
There's no question that this is more sophisticated. When we look at the code, when we look at the mechanism that was used, this one is much more sophisticated. It actually uses 3 different vectors we've seen so far. The vector you're talking about that was used in WannaCry is the 3rd option that's used by this one. It uses 2 others, but the damage is much more significant in this case. This is not looking like it's so much like ransomware anymore, but it's starting to look like it's a deliberate attempt to cause havoc by destroying machines.
Is this something that a hacker collective would do, or is this something that a state government would be interested in doing, destabilizing Ukraine from all of these companies that do business with it or pay taxes to it?
You know, it's real tough these days to tell where the dividing line is between criminals and nation states, and they really do work hand in hand, especially in Eastern Europe. But if you look at this, the criminals are obviously out there for financial gain. This was set up in such a way that there's very little chance of much in terms of financial gain. I think as of last evening, by the way, there was $10,500 that had actually been paid into this wallet. And I've got to tell you that the effort that went into writing the code and distributing it clearly cost a lot more than $10,500.
So what is the measurable impact on the Ukraine going forward?
I think that the biggest problem that they're going to be facing is the fact that the ability to pay taxes to the state is seriously affected. We've seen images that were tweeted of things like supermarkets where the checkout systems had been compromised and were showing the screen. We also see the very large, obviously the multinational shipping line that has now been affected. So it looks like a deliberate attempt to cause some kind of significant financial impact, not just on the citizens of Ukraine, but on Ukraine itself.
You know, when you said you noticed differences in the design between the WannaCry and this, I mean, do we have any indication that paying these people off actually gets you your data back, or was it not even designed to do that?
Theoretically, it was designed to do that, but it's clear so far that the mechanism that was put in place to actually collect ransom is nowhere near the sophistication of the malware itself. And you don't think that someone would have made that kind of mistake. Built something was very, very effective to compromise and no real ability to collect. We haven't seen or heard of anyone so far who's been able to decrypt it. And what we also know is that within a very short time after the malware was discovered, the single email address that was needed to communicate with was actually shut down by the provider. So that's one reason that I believe that no one's going to be able to easily get their data back. The second thing is that there are reports that are surfacing now, as folks have looked at the code, that there is at least one bug in the code that actually makes it so that decryption is not possible.
Are the rest of us basically collateral damage when it comes to what's happening, say, between Ukraine and Russia? This is falling on the day now where this is Constitution Day for Ukraine. They're celebrating their independence from Russia, what, 21 years ago?
We clearly are collateral damage. This was obviously targeted at Ukraine, but it is affecting others. However, one of the things that we've learned in the past is that in many ways, the people behind a lot of the malware don't care about the collateral damage. They have a single target or a single objective, and they don't really seem to care. We've seen that for years. This is no different.
Rodney Joffe joining us from Washington, D.C. tonight. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.